And again, welcome back to our sixth session in Build Your Bones. And today we are excited. We are going to have actually Judy Corbis. So if you could go ahead and change slides for me. Judy Corbis and Terry Keith are our presenters today. They're going to be talking about fall prevention and balance, also called staying strong. And we have Yesenia that's going to be in our chat today. So we're delighted she'll be presenting with us next week. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Judy and Terry.
Thank you, Wendy. Good morning, everyone. So before we get started today, we want to take a few minutes to discuss what we've covered in previous sessions. Does anyone want to share any changes they've made since the last time? You can just put it in the chat box if you want.
Someone said more beans.
Good, that's good.
More whole grains, calcium supplement, trying to exercise more, drinking more milk and spreading calcium intake throughout the day, exercise.
They're all very good. Awesome. All right, well, so far we've discussed your personal risk factors, talked about testing for osteoporosis and medications, supplements that might be appropriate for you. We've also discussed how important good nutrition is, not only for your bone health, but also for your overall good health. So we're going to focus the rest of our time on staying strong. So think for a moment or two about the phrase staying strong, excuse me. So how do you picture that term and how do you fit into that picture and what your picture might look like? So let's see what we get in the chat here.
Terry, can you repeat that question for me again?
Sure. How do you picture staying strong?
They say keep moving and staying flexible, keeping active through strength exercising, consistent lightweight lifting.
Mm-hmm. Good. Anyone else, anything that they picture when they feel like, you know, what staying strong is for them? Besides, I mean, exercise is definitely good, but what about everyday tasks?
Be more consistent with walking and flexibility exercises.
Mm-hmm. Good. All right. So this lesson, the next lesson, are going to focus on staying strong and maintaining independence. So this is achieved with physical activity and maintaining strength. So this is important for overall health as well as building or maintaining bone health. So this is things like posture, alignment, improving your balance. And this builds to another key factor, which is avoiding falls, being safe in your home, and having an overall feeling of security with your physical status. All right, so today's focus is going to be on alignment, posture, balance, reducing falls, like we mentioned, maintaining that independence, maintaining strength and flexibility. So posture is how you position your body while standing, sitting, bending, reaching, or doing other tasks. So improving or maintaining posture may help to reduce rounded sloped shoulders, reduce your chances of fractures of the spine, and reduce pain. Poor posture and alignment can add stress to both your bones and your muscles. So having good posture or improving posture can help reduce pain from arthritis as well. All right, so think a moment about how you sit and stand. Are there anywhere that you can see that you might be able to make some improvements? So take a look at how you're sitting right now. What do you think you could do? Is there something you could change? Let's see if we see anything in the chat for that one. Sit straight. Okay, so if you're slumped over a bit, that might be something to change, sitting up straight. Okay.
Stop slouching.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what about some things you can do when you're at home?
But I stand at a standing desk most of the day.
Standing desk could help, definitely.
Take breaks and stretch.
Good.
Balance exercise. Practice balance.
Awesome. Very good. So good posture is important for everyone, especially if your head is slumping forward, if you've got rounded shoulders or your spine is curving forward, you want to try to work on your posture. Standing and sitting straight to the best of your ability. I think somebody mentioned noticing when you're not sitting straight and correcting that is really good. You want to avoid movements that require bending from the waist, especially if you're bending forward with straight legs and picking something up. Bending, twisting, and lifting at the same time are particularly high risk, and we'll talk about falls a little bit later. All right, so here's another question for you guys. We've got a lot of discussions here today. How might your life change if you fell? Okay, what do you think some of those consequences might be?
Fear to fall in, fractured, broken bones. Might lose independence, lack of walking ability, injury, missed work, asking for rides. It would hurt.
Very good. Does anyone know someone that had trouble recovering from a fall?
We have some response saying yes.
Awesome, thank you. Yep, so definitely, you guys are right on with on track here. So a fall can have a big impact on your life. So besides the potential for pain, like someone mentioned, broken bones or head injuries, falls can also cause either permanent or temporary disability. They can cost you or your insurance company money. They might cause you to increase your dependence on others. So this dependence might be other family members having to help, or it may require even hiring someone to assist you in daily activities. So the inability to get around like before does tend to isolate people from their friends and families. So that is something else to consider. I think you guys were right on with your answers. Another consequence of fall is the fear of another fall, an additional injury from that fall. And the last but not least is death. So some people do die from falls. Traumatic brain injury due to a fall accounts for about half of the deaths due to falls. So thinking along that line, you want to do what we can. And think about the quality of life. So after a fall, it can change dramatically. All right, older adults are more likely to fall, but falls can happen at any age. About 1/3 of people who fall are over 65 years old. For individuals who are over 80, about half of them tend to fall. And an injury may or may not occur with a fall. That's why one of the major goals of this series is to help you reduce that risk. By incorporating balance exercises and other physical activities into your daily routine, you can reduce your fall risk. If you do fall, it is really important to tell your healthcare provider so you can discuss how to prevent future falls. One of the greatest risk factors for a fall is having a previous fall. So you want to make sure you do address that. Don't wait until you fall to take action. Many people who fall do not recover to their previous capabilities. So you want to address it as soon as possible. People with weakened bones are certainly more susceptible to injuries. I think some people put broken bones on here. Remember from a previous lesson that poor bone health can happen at any age. Falls, especially with hip fractures among older adults, can be devastating, and they can start a downward spiral in health. So you can see some of the statistics for falls on our slide here. All right, you may have fallen, or you may know someone who has had a fall. What do you think are some of the reasons that people fall?
One says shoes, poor balance, tripping, get on the foot, tripping, carpets, clutter,
Absolutely.
not watching your step, knocked over by something or someone, Location. Watch where you put your feet. Someone said mine is going to be tripping over grandkids.
Yes. Mhm. Good.
Falling off a
Awesome.
bike or ladder.
Definitely. All right, so these are definitely some of the calls, and you guys named a bunch of these already. We're looking at the concept of staying strong. It may mean different things to different people. There are certainly some things that we can't change, but there are others that we can. So just like anything else in life, we need to focus on what we can change and make improvements to stay strong and reduce our fear of falling. And I think some of you guys have already identified a lot of good things to kind of keep in mind to avoid falls. So some of the risk factors you see here on the slide, some are medical, things like age, gender, vision, things like that. But then you've got others like the postural hypertension. That's where you have a sudden drop in blood pressure when you stand up after lying or sitting down. So other things are neuromuscular. So, poor balance, weak muscles, gait disturbances. So that's where you're, have an abnormal way of walking. And that could be for a number of different reasons. And then you've got psychological ones as well. So anxiety, agitation, and fear of falling is listed on here. So let's go through that one a little bit more. So it's an interesting concept that being afraid you will fall is a risk factor for additional falls. So even if you fall and you're not injured, that fall can lead to activity restriction. You see here on the right-hand side. That leads to reduced physical activity and ability, isolation, and depression. So being concerned about falling is helpful when it reminds people to use safe behaviors, such as not using a chair to climb to reach items in your house. But the fear of falling can cause people to quit doing everyday activities and the things that they enjoy. So restricting activities you see here on the right can lead to a decline in abilities here at the bottom, which then leads to an increase in the risk of falls, and here on the left side, and then that increases the fear of falling, and then just keeps circling around in that cycle. So this loss of ability can also lead to a loss of independence and quality of life. All right, so when something starts to change and it's slowly over time, we often don't notice that change. And balance is one of those things. So our balance starts to decline in our 40s. When we're younger, our reflexes may help overcome some of this loss of balance. But as we age, our reflexes may slow down as well. So maintaining or improving balance will help in your efforts to avoid falls and stay strong. So that's why in each lesson, we've been practicing different activities to help you improve your balance or strength. These exercises are generally easy, although you might want to try more challenging ones as you work through them. All right, so you want to get into the habit of doing balance exercises daily. So what are some suggestions you have for fitting balance exercises into your daily routine? How can you fit those into your everyday activities?
I'm just going to unmute. I know Beth Shepard said that she likes to stand on one foot while she's brushing her teeth.
Great, that's a good one. Thanks, Sam.
Somebody says do some while watching TV.
Definitely, you could do that.
Step away from the computer for 5 minutes each hour or so to balance and take a break. Up and balance at my desk. Set a definite time.
I like setting a definite time. It's easy to get in the middle of a program. Awesome. Good. Definitely, do it while you're doing other activities, like you mentioned, watching TV or brushing teeth. Incorporating set times or having a pattern of practicing them is definitely a way to make sure that you're getting them done. Good job. All right, so some of the exercises that we have gone through do double duty. So they improve both strength and balance. Essentially, any exercises that improve the strength of your lower body will also help to improve your balance. So now I'm going to turn it over to Judy, and she's going to continue with how to avoid falls.
Okay, well, good afternoon. No matter how well we take care of ourselves, falls can still occur. Taking steps to avoid a fall reduces your risk for a fracture. If you have weakened bones, it is especially important to take steps to avoid falls. Have your vision checked annually. Discuss your medications with your healthcare provider and or pharmacist, especially if you have problems with dizziness. Some medications can aggravate dizziness. Some people may want to consider having a home medical alert device. These devices help you contact emergency assistance if needed. Remember that you need to keep the device with you at all times. Many falls occur in the home, so wear it whether you are at home or away. And since many falls occur at home, take steps to make your home safer by removing hazards, modifying it to meet your needs, and purchasing assistive devices. So let's take a look at a few things around the house that can cause a fall. So here we have a ladder. What might cause the person on the ladder to fall? Drop those in the chat. What might cause a person on a ladder to fall? Okay, slippers, yes. So slippers don't provide good support. They're open in the back. They're kind of soft material. It could be also, I'm sorry?
Dizziness.
Dizziness, right. It's particularly the higher up you go on the ladder. Stuff on the floor, that person, it's very easy to step into the paint tray. And so that's a concern that can throw you off balance. The ladder may not be stable or steady. Okay, very good. And ladders, it's not just ladders that can cause a problem. Sometimes step stools can be a problem as well. However, there are some step stools that are very secure. So you want to choose one that is stable and has something to hang on to. I have one in my house that has a handle. And it's only 2 steps up, but I can lean against the handle and grab a hold of it. It gives me more security when I'm up changing a light bulb or reaching something off a high shelf. Okay, what about our dog or cat, or as I like to call them, furry speed bumps? So we love our pets, but we do need to watch out for them, especially when we're getting up at night. So where do animals sometimes like to sleep? If not in the bed with us, where do they like to sleep? Right beside the bed, right, on the floor next to the bed. So when you step out, you might be stepping right in the middle of them. So that's something to be very aware of. Also, we see here, and also on the foot of the bed, yes. So if they don't get kicked off, they may be on the foot of the bed, keeping your feet warm. Also, this dog in the picture here is in a dog bed. So this can be an additional hazard for a slip and fall, particularly if it's near a doorway or in a high traffic area. Okay, what about stairs? How can stairs be a hazard? You know, always hold on to the banister. Yes, very good point, Nancy, very good. Always hold on to the banister. Items on the stairs, yes. Going up and down them too quickly, they may be slippery. If you're in your socks, you can slip inside. So it's important to hold on to your stairs. Don't go, it's better to make multiple trips with just a few things, you know, one thing in your hand at a time, rather than try to make it in one trip and then end up tripping. Also, yeah, and steps can be too steep as well. Electric cords and phone cords stretched across the floor are also tripping hazards. And a cluttered home in general provides more opportunities to slip and fall as well. So there are some ways that we can make our home safer. So depending on your specific needs, there are a number of things that you can do to reduce your fall risk, whether at home or away. If a cane or a walker has been recommended, they will provide stability that can reduce your risk for a fall. My mother walks with a cane. We call her third leg, and she has bad arthritis in her knees that really helps her, gives her stability if her knee should give way on her. If you have clutter in your home, you're more likely to trip. Think about how your home is arranged. Are there throw rugs that might cause you to trip? Magazines, newspapers, and other things lying around on the floor. Electrical cords stretched across places where you walk. Poor lighting. So installing night lights in high traffic areas, particularly at night, can be helpful. So we have here, you see up here, the different bars, safety bars, and standard prudentia, a tub handle that goes in the middle of the tub, and and is safer from falling. Very good, very good. So you see here, grab bars in your bathroom can be very helpful. Positioning them just outside the tub, around the tub area, the shower and tub area is very important. I'm looking at this bathroom up here, this modern looking bathroom. Do you see any hazards there in that bathroom? Okay. What about the depth of the tub? Could that be a problem? Yeah, it looks like you have to step up to get in. No grab bars, and it's a pretty high step up to get in and out. Also, what about the flooring? Do you see any non-skid rugs on there? Yeah, it can be slippery when wet. So having a rubber back non-skid backing on a rug could help provide a place for you to put your feet and not slip out. The toilet, is there anything around the toilet that you could grab a hold of? No, there's nothing, right. Right, and so you could point, that's the next point, the edge of the counter could be hazardous. It has a point. Also, the pulls on the drawers look like they possibly could be sharp if you landed the wrong way on them. So grab bars or even the handles that you can attach to your toilet then they fasten where the toilet seat anchors in are a great way to lift up and down, rise up and down safely off the toilet. And another tip too, if you are remodeling your bathroom or if someone is building a new house, adding bracing in the walls in the shower or tub area, it goes behind the drywall or your tile, whatever the outer surface will be. That gives a perfect place to attach grab bars. So even for younger people who are looking to build, if they add that bracing while the house is being constructed, it's there for when grab bars can be added later on. So that's also a good selling feature for a house as well. And definitely a safety addition that if you need to add grab bars, you can do so safely. So while this bathroom looks very attractive, it can be dangerous for slips and falls no matter any age. So it's important to do a hazard hunt for your home and look for ways that you can reduce your risk of a fall. So just kind of check around and some of the things we mentioned here. See, is there anything in your house that you need to change or alter to make your home safer? Okay. Now, what happens if you do fall? The first thing to do is don't panic. Stay still for a few minutes, relax, get your bearings, catch your breath, and determine if you have injured anything. If you think you may have a broken bone or another injury, do not get up. Yell for help or call to the telephone and call for help. Or if you have one of those medical alert devices, you can press the button and call for help. Something to consider is where the telephones are in your home. Are they at a level that can be reached if you were on the floor? A common place where people fall is in the bathroom. If you're at risk of falling, take a cordless phone or your cell phone into the bathroom and put it somewhere easy to reach. If you can get up, do so slowly. Here are some gentle procedures on how to get up from a fall. First, gently roll over onto your side. Then crawl to a chair. Even if it is a little farther, you may want to crawl to a chair that's near a telephone. Put your weight on your strongest leg. Pull yourself up while bracing yourself with your arms. Turn and sit down. Then check yourself for visible signs of injury, especially if you hit your head. If you have any pain, swelling, bruising, bleeding, or dizziness, call for assistance when you feel you can do so safely. So you may take a few minutes to kind of collect yourself and then call for help if you need it. Now we're going to watch a short video which shows us how to get up from a fall. Terry, can you turn on the audio on that?
Yeah, it's not playing on my computer either. Hang on just a second.
Okay.
So what you may have to do, guys, is when you share the screen, make sure you click the box below that says share sound. There you go.
We work hard throughout our careers to provide for our families, to own a home, and ultimately to retire to a life of simple pleasures. Ask any senior what is most important to them as they age, and most will answer staying healthy and maintaining their independence. It would be difficult to find anyone in this country who hasn't either had a family member or close friend experience a fall. And we know that sometimes the consequences of these falls can be very serious. The good news is that we have identified a number of characteristics that increase the probability that a person will fall. These include use of medications, how people learn to control their balance, and also a number of environmental factors, which we know can combine to increase the chance that a person is going to fall. And we also understand now what can be done to reduce those risks. In spite of our best efforts, some people are going to experience a fall, and what we wanted to cover today is techniques that a person can use should they fall and want to get up from the floor unassisted. For the purposes of demonstration today, we have Dorothy here, who's our healthy volunteer, and she's going to demonstrate the system that we recommend. So first she's laying still, collecting her wits, then she's looking over to identify a substantial piece of furniture. You roll your head in that direction, roll your shoulder, your pelvis, and try to get over onto all fours. And when you first lift your head up, if you can find a comfortable position, and then just rest for a second, because now you've lifted your head and we want you to have a moment for your blood pressure to reacclimate. When you feel like you're not dizzy, go ahead and get up on all fours and then crawl over to the piece of furniture, if possible. And then put your arms up on the seat, and then use whichever leg seems like it would be the most substantial. Get it up next to the chair, push down, pivot around, and be seated. And after you've completed this transfer from getting up from the floor, it's important to make a mental note to yourself that you're going to bring this up with your primary care provider, because what we want to do then is to look for what is it that's going on in your body, in combination with your environment, that caused you to have this fall, because we know that a person who has fallen is at high risk of having this happen again. If you are worried about falling for yourself or for a loved one, know that you are not alone. The danger of falling among older adults is so prevalent that preventing them has become a national health priority. To learn more, please visit learnnottofall.com and stay tuned to this website for tips and techniques about staying healthy and home safety.
Hey, Sam, you brought up a good point. What if the only chair is a swivel chair or a rocking chair? Probably the best thing is you could push it against the wall or brace it against something so it would provide some stopping mechanism. That probably would be your best option. Okay, a very good point to bring up. Now, everyone has different levels of physical ability. Remember, the goal is to stay strong and be able to do your daily activities and enjoy life. Depending on your individual health and chronic conditions such as osteoporosis, you may not be able to engage in aerobic activities. However, you can target on improving your posture, balance, and walking. Discuss your abilities and limitations with your healthcare provider. He or she may recommend specific activities or a physical therapist to help you. When going to a physical therapist, discuss your goals and your existing conditions. Ask the therapist about their qualifications and experience in working with people with your conditions. And just because someone works in a gym or a fitness center doesn't make them an expert. Make sure you work with the right person. Now, have you ever thought that something as simple as sneezing could injure a vertebra? For someone with weakened bones, the force of the sneeze can cause a fracture. Good posture can help, but you may need to change how you do some activities. Try to avoid bending at the waist with straight legs, twisting motions, lifting things over your head, and reaching for things, as these actions have the potential for injury. You should have received a handout for moving safely. And this has some information from the National Osteoporosis Foundation. So some tips for moving safely. And finally, you want to stay strong. Take steps to maintain your independence and do the things that you enjoy. Think about your posture and do your balance exercises daily. Over time, you will notice a difference. Give your home a hazard check to reduce your risk of falls. Add safety features to your home if needed. You will soon notice a difference. And now we're going to work on our posture. Terry and I are going to demonstrate some activities, some exercises you can do at home to improve your balance, your posture, and functionality. So as Terry gets set up, we just wanted to mention that all the exercises we are demonstrating today should not hurt in any way while you're doing them. Also, they should not cause muscle soreness that lasts more than 2 days. Everyone should get permission from their healthcare provider before beginning a new exercise routine. Now, Terry's going to demonstrate a corner stretch exercise, and this helps with your posture. So this is something it's best done in the corner of a room. And so we're going to get the camera set up here so that we can see Terry. Okay. All right, there's Terry. Okay. Now she's going to stand in the corner of the room with her arms bent at a 90-degree angle at shoulder level and hands touching the walls. So she's going to demonstrate. Okay. Then she's going to step 1 foot forward, letting that knee bend. Now, you can't see her legs, but step forward with it, letting your front knee bend. Lean onto your front leg, bringing your head and chest toward the corner. You should feel a slight stretch in your shoulders. Look at the corner of the wall at chest level to avoid overextending the neck. You'll hold this for 20 to 30 seconds. And then you'll stand up straight and switch feet and repeat the exercise on the other side. So you can perform these exercises once a day. You can spread them out throughout the day. So these are things you can do. You can do this while you're watching TV or just a morning stretch. Good way to build up your posture and build your back muscles. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to demonstrate a couple of exercises and Terry's going to guide through these. So if you want to follow along, feel free to do so.
All right. So for these exercises, so that one was the corner stretch exercise. The next one we're going to do is a functional exercise. These are similar to activities that you do every day. They can help you to stay strong. And they're things like getting in and out of the chair. So this is the chair rise example that we're going to do here. So you want to sit on the front edge of a chair and then rise to a standing position. And then you're going to gently sit back down without using your arms. And you want to keep your feet and your knees hip width apart at all times. And you want to use the strength of your legs to sit down. So you shouldn't like drop down in the chair. You want to do it gently. If you have trouble with keeping your hands from using those to help support yourself, you can cross your arms over your chest to provide some, keep your arms from being used. And your goal is to sit and stand 10 times in a row. Okay. Now, if you're finding this difficult, what you can do is place a pillow in your chair to help and do it 10 times with the pillow, and then try to remove the pillow, make it a little bit harder. Again, like Judy said, these shouldn't hurt in any way while it's being done or cause muscle soreness that lasts more than 2 days. And you can do this exercise once each day. All right. All set, Judy? All right, and then our next exercise is going to be a balance exercise. So Judy's going to adjust her camera a little bit so you can see her feet a little bit more. But balance and leg strengthening exercises can help improve balance while decreasing the risk of falls. So these can very easily be done at home. This one just requires the chair, as you see here. Now, there are a bunch of different variations with this exercise. So you want to make sure when you start this exercise that when you're doing it, your feet and legs will feel a little bit wobbly so that you know you're being challenged. However, you don't want to feel like you're going to be able to fall when you're doing this. So hand placement when you're doing this activity and this exercise may vary depending on your level of balance at that time. So when you initially start out, you might have your hands on a firm, steady chair or table, both hands to help give you some balance support. And then as you go through the exercises, you might adjust to using one hand only, or maybe just one fingertip. And then eventually maybe just having your hands above the table and just having it there in case you need it is one way to do that. So this is the progression exercise. So level 1 starts with your feet together, like you see Judy's got here. So her feet are tightly together, and then she would want to place her hands wherever it was comfortable, wherever she felt she wasn't going to fall, and then try to hold that position for 20 to 30 seconds, and then let go. Okay. When you no longer wobble, you can swap to doing if you're doing one finger, or then progress to no hands, whichever one you need to do. Level 2 is where you're going to stand with one foot in front, but slightly to the side of the other one. So you're going to have the inside portion of one foot, the heel touching the inside edge of the back foot's big toe. And again, place your hands where you're comfortable, and then you would hold that position for 20 to 30 seconds. And then finally, we get to the level 3, you're going to stand with one foot directly in front of the other, like being on a tightrope. Okay, you see Judy's got position here. Place your hands again, whether you feel like you need 2 hands or no hands at all, or one finger. And then you would hold that position for 20 to 30 seconds. Again, this is about balance. And then once you're comfortable with that, level 4 is where you're going to stand on one leg only. So again, you're going to work on it with how your hands need to be placed. And then hold that for 20 to 30 seconds. So as you become steadier, again, you want to try to hold on less and less, and then you get to the point where you're holding both hands 2 inches above the chair or table, or do the exercise with your eyes closed. Okay. Anyone have any questions on here? This can be done once each day, and again, stop immediately if you feel like you're going to fall, or you could fall. Let me share the last few slides we've got here. All right.
Okay, so what will you do this week to take care of your bones? So we take a couple of minutes to write down your goals, barriers to your goals, and how you will overcome those barriers. So you have your sheet there, your personal risk factors for poor balance and falls, 2 things you can do to decrease your risk, barriers to your plan, and then steps you can take to overcome those barriers. So does anyone have anything they would like to share in the chat box, their goals for this week? Give me a motivation to others. Maybe give them a new idea. Or you know that you're not alone. Okay, working on your balance. Sometimes that seems so harder, and we think we have balance, and when we do exercises, we realize I need to work on that a little bit more. Schedule balancing exercises. Okay. Any specific exercises you might be wanting to work on? Okay, good balance. Okay, good. The ones in the handouts. And those are ones that you can do while you're watching television or chatting on speakerphone or whatever. So you can, holding up your leg, that's good. Yes, the flamingo pose, as I call it. Okay, one thing to remember is you're never too old or too young to improve your bone health. That's something we can do throughout our Lifetime. Okay, someone stands on one foot while putting on and tying their shoes. That's a good balance exercise. Okay, are there any questions, other questions that you have about today's lesson or anything that we've covered so far in Build Your Bones? Or do you have does anyone have anything they'd like to share with the group or words of encouragement for this week's goals? Go ahead and drop them in the chat box.